So when we were talking about factoring, we talked about solving quadratic equations. Quadratic equations, remember, are equations that have a squared term, a degree 2 equation. And the first way that we solved quadratic equations was by factoring. And we set it equal to 0, and we factored our quadratic degree 2 expression. But the question arises, what happens if I cannot factor the quadratic? Can I still solve it? And the answer is, of course, yes, math. So the general format of every quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Almost every algebra book that you ever open up, if you open up another one, will use the same letters. Note this, whether you factor or whether you're going to use what's called the quadratic formula, this has to be equal to 0. That is not an option. Once you've set it equal to 0, here's the quadratic formula. It just becomes a plug and chug problem. You got to pick off the right numbers and put them in the right place. The solutions to any quadratic equation, whether it factors or whether it does not factor, whether the answers are complex answers, whether they're going to have square roots, whether they're just going to be whole numbers, will take the following format. Negative b. That means whatever b is up here, you make it the opposite. Plus or minus. What that means is for most quadratic equations, there are two answers. Then we have the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. This is the most complicated part of the quadratic formula. This is called the discriminant. And when you go to memorize this, I would start there and then work your way out. And then that expression is the whole numerator. The denominator is 2 times a. All solutions to every quadratic equation take that format. Know it, love it, and solve quadratic equations.